Howdy, guys. My name is Attorney Walter, if not the third, and we are now live for our zillionth episode. No, I'm just kidding. I think we're getting close to 50 of doing these. I work at Disability Resolution PA, which is a disability law firm. What we do is we apply people and try to win their benefits for SSI and SSDI, which is Supplemental Security Income and Social Security Disability Insurance. Now, let's go through the basics. There's another company, which I'm right now converting into a nonprofit, called spaceconstitution.com. Spaceconstitution.com, just so you know, is the first open source constitution which will allow anybody, anywhere, to go ahead and write in whatever freedoms, whatever rights they want, so that basically they can go ahead and have all the things they want in future constitutions written out. Okay, guys, let's get away from this stuff. I worked there for 8 years. I just started this nonprofit. Let's get to you guys. I'm going to go ahead and start taking phone calls. Real quick, though, I just want to notate one thing in particular. Howdy, guys. Howdy, Jane Doe. Howdy. I just want to go ahead and put some things out there. There's an individual who I'm going to be going ahead and putting in here for the music that they're doing, and I'm going to see if they can go ahead and maybe do a track for disability resolution, or if they could go ahead and record some of the work that they've been doing. They've been playing. They're an award-winning artist, and they've been playing for the homeless, and I went to school with them. So I'm hoping maybe we can go ahead and integrate with them somehow and get some music from them to go ahead and do future stuff. Let's go to the first caller real quick. We've already had a bunch of people call in. I know I'm late. I know, but let's get right to it. Okay, here we go. Okie doke. Let me see what we got here. And here we go. All right, I'm going to reach out to the person that I missed. That way we can get the show started and get rolling very quickly. And I can see I didn't brush my hair. Excellent. We are super prepared today. This is good. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Knott. We are live on YouTube. Please remember to not use your real name, use a fake name. And also, would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to go ahead and run hearing questions with you?
Hi, Walter. He asked me to give you a call tonight.
Perfect. Walk me through. What did we talk about?
It was the young lady that called last week who was having such a horrifically difficult time. I sent you a text message asking you that if you got my message.
I remember.
Prior to calling her the next day, telling her that she won the 25, that I wanted her to know that it can get better. And as she talked about her story, I just sat here, and half of me was just so stunned to hear what she was saying, and the other half of me was just grateful. I wanted so badly to be able to reach out and give her a hug and tell her, just let her cry, and just tell her that it was okay, that it could change, it could get better. Because as the part of me that was so distraught for her was the part where I felt like I heard her talking about my story and the struggles that I went through for so many years. You know, I was raped at 3 by a guy that used to babysit me while my parents worked and went to school. And then at 16 by somebody who was supposed to be my best friend. And, you know, I basically don't remember life before 12, save a few snapshot photos and in my head. And, you know, was pretty much suicidal on a daily basis from 12 forward. And in fact, in my mid-20s, after my second child was born, over the next 8-year period, I had 17 admissions for suicide attempts. And I wasn't the kind of individual that was interested in attention. I wanted out. I had no interest in being here at all. And the last admission that I had was in 1995, and I was in the hospital for a year. When I was discharged, I was on enough medicine literally for 3 people. And the short of the story is my sister took me to church with her one night, and the guy that was there, he was a guest speaker, ended up praying for me. And it really freaked me out because I'd never seen anybody pray like that before. And before I could leave, he made me claim that healing. You know, tell me you're healed. I'm like, okay, I'm healed. And then he ended up like a drill sergeant almost in my face and made me claim that healing. And it was less than a year after that. I was able to be off of all of my medications. And I am now, all this time later, have been for all of that time, turned out to be a very well-adjusted, very happy individual that I actually like who I am. I love me now.
That's cool.
And I get the privilege of sharing the story that I have with people, and just being able to give people hope that, you know, the misery and discomfort that they feel can change. It doesn't have to be what it is. And you know, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to have issue, I think, with what I'm fixing to say, because I want to share that in the Old Testament, in the book of Isaiah, there's a scripture with the last phrase says that, surely I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. And then a couple of scriptures later, it says that, for I am the Lord your God who upholds your right hand. So if you can picture two people walking side by side trying to hold right hands as they do that, that sounds kind of awkward. But if you think of a parent and a child facing one another, I mean, that's kind of essentially what we do with our children as they learn to walk. We stand in front of them and we hold their hand, and we kind of walk backwards as they walk forward. And that's really what God does with us. He stands in front of us and walks backwards and holds us up, and he's ready to catch us if we stumble and fall. And it's just such a beautiful concept. And, you know, what I have found, God will knock you on top of your head to get your attention, but he still gives you a free will. But where things really start getting cool is if you make the choice to be a willing participant and just show up, he'll do incredible things through you and for you. And you can't go wrong. You know, you got to find good people to kind of help build your knowledge and your faith. But if you can find that, you know, things can get so much better.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right. Well, that's excellent. You know, that, and you know, her story was very, very difficult. In fact, I tried to find her thereafter because I pretty much find everybody that we voted to donate the $25 to, and I haven't found her yet. But usually, I'm able to donate to by the next show. So if she is watching right now, to please reach out to me with a text message so that we could reconnect, and because she did win that $25 last time to help her with the basics and things like that. But your story is very powerful. And it's very good. I think it's incredible. I think the future for a lot of people seems so incredibly dark, and a lot of people don't connect with how bad it is for the disabled. And, you know, the classic thing I'll hear is, you know, for example, somebody will get hit by a car and then their life will be ruined, and then they live in poverty for the rest of their life, and they don't understand why they're being tortured in this manner. And there are things. Well, Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to add to my story a little bit in that I'm on disability right now. Mm-hmm. I have a 20-year undiagnosed lung condition that leaves me on 6 liters of oxygen. I spent the last 2 weeks of December in the hospital with my asthma. I have very severe asthma that is extremely difficult to treat, probably likely because of the underlying lung condition. And my diabetes has been raging out of control since September because I had to be on steroids for the asthma. So the steroids throw the diabetes out of whack. And, in the last month or so, we've managed to get my diabetes sugars. But, so I don't want anybody to think that I'm trying to say that, if you go with God, your life is going to be perfect. Because we live in bodies that are not perfect, right? Our bodies get sick. We have faith and belief and pray for people that they be healed and get well or whatever. I mean, the pastor of the church that I used to go to some years ago, I'm telling you, if anybody could breathe life into somebody through faith and belief, it would have been him. And yet he lost his son to cancer in his 20s. So I don't claim to have all of the answers. And, God, he's not walking around with like a magic wand saying, oh, say my name and everything's going to be wonderful. But the point is that he carries the yoke. If the burden, if you'll allow him to carry that, and he will help you be able to walk through these difficult times and stuff. I mean, I can't imagine what it's like trying to get on disability now. My disability, I got on really quite easily back in 2004. And I've heard you talk about some of the things recently. I've only found you in like the last 3 weeks,
Sure.
4 weeks up. And some of the stories, the things that I've heard you talk about, I've just been floored. I had no idea. I never had to stand before a judge and let him see that I can't breathe. I had no idea.
The transition is unfortunate because it's never been harder to be found disabled, and a lot of people unfortunately hurt or harm other people who are on disability, and they'll be like, "Oh, it's so easy," and then the person will get denied over and over and over and over again, and then they'll just feel like they're a reject. But the reality is that those individuals who have their benefits right now, if they're pretty much under 60 and they got it 10 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever, they're going to get a CDR. And I see handful after handful after handful getting kicked off of their benefits because their impairments no longer meet the severity requirements that have changed for the disability benefits. So as a result of that, it's tough. We're seeing a lot more reobtaining benefits situations. We're seeing a lot of overpayments where they'll continue to receive their benefits and keep getting denials until they remove all the benefits from them and say, you owe the government now for all those months that you were trying to fight this claim. So, it's one of those things where people don't realize how extremely difficult it is to be found disabled. But ma'am, that was amazing. That was very, very excellent to go ahead and just get that side of it out there, because a lot of people don't understand how to kind of move forward and what to do and how they should emotionally connect in the future with things. But that's excellent. You have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed night, and please have a blessed weekend as well. And I will catch you a little bit later,
All right. Thank you, Walter. You have a great night.
You as well. Thank you.
I love what you do. I love your heart.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
And give Shadow a hug for me.
I will. He's around here. He is literally, he was unhappy the whole day because I didn't have the treats that he likes. He threw a little fit.
Oh, no.
And then so this is what Shadow does. He will find the doors where I hide my shoes. Then he'll open them because he'll literally jump up, grab the door handle, and twist it. And then he'll go ahead and let Sweetie run in, and she chews all my shoes. I am down to zero nice shoes that are like, I have like, court shoes, but all the other shoes are all at this point, I only have Walmart shoes. And surprisingly, the Walmart shoes are pretty good. Like, they're not Keens or Merrells or whatever. Yeah, no, I know, right? Yeah, but they're not that bad. Like, the abuse that I put into these shoes, I was like, it's not that bad. And the other side of the coin is like, I'm not seeing $120, $130 pair of shoes just getting chewed by Sweetie. And, she's a puppy.
Right.
I like to call her my little liger or my little, like a lion and a tiger combined. I like to call her.
Lion and tiger, yeah.
Yeah, she's my Belgian waffle horse. She's a puppy and she's massive. She's 85 pounds, So
that sounds like my dog.
yeah. So, but well, yeah.
I have a little 35, just this little 35-pound stud muffin. I mean, he's just a little bitty
Sure.
thing. I mean, compared the last dog I had was a 100-pound pit. He was half pit and half Rottweiler, and he was actually my respiratory service dog.
Good.
Yeah, he was awesome, and sadly, I lost him in December of 2016. But I've got this little guy here, got him from the forced shelter I finally looked in.
Yeah.
And he was the only small dog that I could find that wasn't going to grow up into a big dog.
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
Oh. I love puppies.
That's amazing.
All right, Walter, thank you. I hope you and everyone else tonight, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening.
You as well. Have a wonderful, wonderful night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So I think that caller brought out some really, really amazing points. We're getting another call right now. Let me. Hi. Oh, hold on. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Knott. We are live on YouTube. Remember to go ahead and use a fake name throughout this. And would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to run hearing questions with you?
A specific question.
Sure, go for it.
Okay, so I am 30 years old,
Okay.
and I've applied for disability.
Okay.
And I know it's really hard to get disability when you're this age.
Yes.
So I'm trying to find out the likelihood, in your opinion, because my lawyer doesn't really communicate with me. I just talk to his assistant, and she doesn't really tell me much. So
you're throwing it on me.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I gotcha. That's fine. A lot of people do that.
Yeah.
That's no biggie. Walk me through, what are your top 5 most severe impairments?
It's just my back. So I have, stenosis. I've had 3 major back surgeries. That's really it. And it started at the age of 17, but according to them, it's been since 2017. That's when they go back to me having stopped work. So I got a call from my case manager as well just a couple of weeks ago, and she was saying that she would probably have to schedule me an appointment with one of their medical doctors, which I know is normal. I'm just trying to figure out, like I said, the likelihood of this working.
So you've had 3 failed surgeries, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And let me ask you this. Do you have a cane?
Yes. I use it to get... My doctor hasn't said you need to use a cane, but I do.
So it's not prescribed?
No.
Okay. Why isn't it prescribed? I mean, can you find a doctor that is willing to prescribe it, or is it one of those things where the doctor just doesn't believe you need it?
I guess. I'm not sure. My last surgery, my last surgery was last October. So when I asked about the cane, my post-op appointment, she said, I don't want you to become reliable on a cane.
Okay, so relying on the cane. Okay. So do you also have any other ambulatory devices, for example, crutches, rollator, walker with a seat, rocker in general, anything like that?
No.
Okay. How far can you walk before you have to stop and rest?
See, like on a bad day, probably like 10, 15 minutes.
What is that? I mean, distance-wise, what is that?
Oh, distance? I'm not sure. I'm not good with like the miles thing. All I see is time.
Okay, talk to me
Is
about
that
it.
bad?
Well, yeah, because that nobody knows what that means. That's like, I can walk 30
Okay.
minutes. Well, to a regular person, it's this. To a person who's back problems that we don't know how bad they are, it could be anything. Okay, well,
Okay.
walk me through this. So help me understand this. So basically, in car lengths, average cars around 13, 14, 15 feet. How many car lengths could you walk?
Car lengths. Probably, I don't know. That's really hard to say. I guess 4 to 5 before I would have to sit down.
4 to 5? Okay. And then when you'd have to sit down, how long would you have to rest before you'd have to go ahead and stand back up?
Probably like 10 minutes, 10,
About
15 minutes.
10, 15 minutes. Okay, gotcha. And help me
Yeah.
out with this.
Mhm.
After that 10 to 15 minutes of standing back up, so you could walk, 3, 4, 5 maybe car lengths in about 10, 15 minutes you're resting. How many times could you repeat that function in an 8-hour workday?
Not, I would say 3 or 4.
Okay. Now, I didn't ask you, but the assumption would be all of that was without a cane. Is that with a cane or without a cane?
That is.
Okay.
That is without a cane. I mean, it's hard for me to say because sometimes when I get back up, I have to sit back down immediately after the break. So it just really depends on what I feel like because sometimes I can get up and I can walk 3 more car lengths, but then, like I just said, other times after that 10, 15-minute break, I have to sit down immediately back over again and sit down for another 10, 15 minutes. Or maybe go back and not even walk the next 3 to 4 car lengths.
Okay. So tell me what's wrong with your back and where you feel the pain, what kind of pain you have.
So it's going down my legs. I have the nerve. It's the nerve. The disc on the nerve. It was L5, S1. It was compression on the nerve. My legs are numb. Sometimes they burn. It's tingling all the way down to my feet. Pain, obviously, on my back area. Up my side on the left. That's pretty much where it goes.
Okay. Now help me out with this. Any spinal stimulators, any medication, anything like that?
Yes. I just got put on pain management. I took hydrocodone 3 times a day. That made me so sick. They had to switch me to Percocet, so now that's what I'm on.
Okay. And can you help me out with this? With the surgeries that you did, why didn't they work?
Well, the first 2, they herniated again, bulged, herniated. So it was the same exact place, bulging again, herniating again. The second is a fusion, and I'm actually not sure why I'm still in so much pain since, like I said, it was just last October. So I have my 3rd appointment this month. Like I said, I'm not sure why it's hurting so bad.
Okay. So help me out with this. Do you still have a driver's license?
I do.
Okay. You able to drive without issue?
No.
Okay. Walk me through that.
I have to stop. I would say less than 30 on a good day, every 30 minutes. On a bad day, every 15 minutes. So I try not to drive at all. I try to get someone to drive me.
Okay. Help me out with this.
So,
what seemed to be the cause of it?
Yeah.
What was the origin point? Give me the timeline.
Well, 17, high school. It just randomly started. So that's what happened. Oh, also, I don't have a degree in anything. I went to culinary school, but I can't do that with my back, so I had to quit. But ever since then, I've only been a server, and then I was an Uber driver. So that was the extent of my work.
When was the last time? When was the last time you worked as an Uber driver?
October of 2017 or 2018, I think, or whenever they have on record. We've had to go through this so many times. I don't remember the date, but they have the date. I think it must be 2017, but yeah, that was the last thing I did.
Okay, so let me ask you this: have you been supporting yourself over the past couple of years without income?
My parents and my boyfriend.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and let me ask you this: how many spine doctors do you currently see?
I only see 2. Well, I don't know if they have to be specifically spine doctors, but I see one neurosurgeon, which is the one who did my surgery.
Yeah.
And then I see my primary care, who follows up with me and does my pain management.
Okay. Help me out with this. So you've been going through these pain issues for quite some time. You're now older. You've been trying out different jobs. They've been failing. You haven't tried a job for the past 3 years. So is it a correct statement that you filed after your last work and now you're basically just waiting for a hearing? Have you, and I already know the answer to this, you haven't run hearing questions with your attorney. I already know that. What I'd like to know is this: have you at this point actually gone over the consultative examination appointments, the medical diagnostic impression reports that were output by the SSA's doctors? Did your attorney obtain them and go over them with you?
Have they gone over wait, I'm sorry. What are the reports? I'm sorry, I'm confused.
Yeah, so they're called consultative examination reports. They're basically those appointments that you go to with the doctors at the SSA. And then they'll make a report and they'll submit it to DDS. And then when you get to the hearing level, they'll go ahead and be inside the F folder of the ERE. Have you reviewed those with the attorney?
No, I actually called them because, like I said, my case manager called me a couple of weeks ago and said, we're going to try and schedule you an appointment with this doctor. So I called them, and she wouldn't let me speak to him. And she told me, there's nothing we can do. You just have to be honest.
So they didn't warn you about how the doctors will go ahead and walk quickly in front of you to see if you can keep up. They didn't warn you about how the doctors open up the doors and then let them close behind them so that you have to open them up so that they can write that down. They didn't warn you about your ability to get onto. Yeah. Okay, cool. So
no, I've been watching multiple videos about this doctor's appointment, though.
Yeah.
I haven't heard what you just said, those 3 things that you specifically just said, but I've been looking it up.
I had and this is, and I say this not to bring proof to anything, but the following. I had a gentleman, a gay claimant who was a really amazing guy, and actually shared with me a bunch of information about health food that I had no idea about because, I don't know if you guys know this, but I have the absolute worst tendencies for eating. I mean, I eat junk food pretty much every day, all day, because I just have no time, So basically, he was very upset with the doctors. And, I'd gone through the regular things with him. I explained things to him, but he was very upset. He said, "You didn't tell me." I said, "What did I not tell you?" And he said, "They were going to touch me without asking my permission." And I said, "Well, that's a good point. That's a really good point. So let me pass this knowledge on to you. When you go in for this physical review, they're going to go ahead and see if you can do certain physical degrees of movements. So what that means is that essentially, if you can go ahead and real quick, Pissed Off from it's the gentleman that's in the live chat. I got your emails. I haven't read them yet. I'm going to read them. Not tonight because I have to work on another thing, but tomorrow morning, that's my day to read them in the morning. Okay, so back to you. I'm sorry
if I'm taking too long.
No. I was just responding to one of the people in the chat. No. He's a really amazing person. Yeah. So basically, they do these degree of movements. How much can you move your arm? How much can you move your leg? How much can you do this? And what happens is when they do that, they go ahead and are trained, most of them, to grab your body, move this arm, move this leg, do this, do that. It's all extremely quick. And the moment you say, whoa, you're going to have to slow way down and ask me for permission to touch my body before touching it. That's going to completely throw them off track. And this is important. This is super important because instead of them just being able to go, okay, move this, do this, I'm going to move this over here. Good. Okay, good, good, good. Excellent. Nice. Okay, very good. And we're done. Instead of going through that, they're going to have to slow it down and give you the opportunity for your body to react based upon the movements that are occurring.
Okay. Should I say, what if they're not touching me and they're just telling me to do that? Is that the same thing? Do I need to say something if they're not touching me, or do they always touch you?
If they pretty much they almost always touch you as part of the movement to get you going. But if they don't, say, hey, look, you're gonna have to slow down because I'm experiencing pain with these different movements that I'm doing. The preferential is if you look at one of those charts, they're the degrees of movement charts, and look at the type that they're going to be doing. Those are the movements that they're going to be trying to have you do. And it's always best if you're aware of them ahead of time, because doing a straight leg test, everybody knows that they're going to make you do that, but not everybody knows all the little movements that they make you do. And then all of a sudden you're doing one, and you're totally and completely incapacitated for the next 3 days because of them.
Right.
There's another thing I'd like you to do, which is to go ahead and have your attorney contact your DDS rep and ask what medical documentation has been submitted so far to the CEME. Like, what medical records did they send them? Because a lot of these CEMEs, they'll have you come and they won't have any medical records to read ahead of time, and then they're just winging this thing, from nothing. No, yeah.
I've actually sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
the videos that I've been watching, it says to bring in your most recent MRI report, not the CD. Is that something I should do?
Any and all medical records that you want to bring in, that's fine, but there's a problem.
Okay.
Medical records that you bring in are not signed, sealed, and delivered by the attorney or the DDS rep at the SSA, which means that automatically there's a more subjective element to it, because they don't know if they've been altered by you, the claimant, because you have an agenda. So you really want to find out what records were sent by DDS rep or the attorney to, and the attorney never sends records to the CE person. The attorney sends the records to the DDS rep. But you really want to find out what the records were that the DDS rep sent to the consultative examination medical expert, the doctor you're going to see.
Okay.
Because that will dictate.
Can I type down what you just said, or can you email me what you just said, or?
I mean, I'm not. I got to be super honest with you. I'm not gonna have enough time to write up a thing and email it to you.
I know. Okay.
Yeah, but here, I'll give you bullet points. Go grab a pen and I'll give you bullet points.
Here, I have it in my phone. I'm on my notepad.
Excellent. All right, that's because you're 30. That's good. And I'm getting old now. Oh, God.
Me too. I feel old. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So number one, slow things down when going to the appointment. Number two, request that they ask you to touch you if they're going to touch you. Number three, don't be fooled into opening doors that you can't open or walking quickly to catch up with the doctor when they're walking.
Hold on, sorry. Typo. Don't be fooled in opening doors or walking quickly. Got it?
Number four, don't be clicking around on your phone during that. That shows your capacity to not have enough pain to slow you down on interacting in a digital sense, such as typing or fingering and using your fingers to basically go ahead and do fine manipulative functioning.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Mm-hmm. And then basically the other thing you want to watch out for is, essentially have your attorney reach out to the DDS rep. The DDS rep will go ahead and let your attorney know what medical documentation has been submitted to the SSA, CE, ME, the SSA, Social Security Administration, CE, Consultative Examination, ME, Medical Expert.
I'm sorry, can you say those last two?
Yeah, CE, ME, Consultative Examination, Consultative Examination.
Got it.
Think like consult examination, but it's consultative examination, and then ME, Medical Expert.
Okay, and those last two are the doctors that they are going to be sending me to? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's one of them. That's the physical doctor. We haven't gone over the mental stuff. I mean, are you going to be going to a mental doctor as well? Are we looking at like anxiety, depression, panic attacks? You're not?
I mean, yes, I do. I mean, yes, but I don't know. It's not severe enough for me to be on medicine for it, so it probably doesn't matter.
Can I ask you some basic questions?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. how has your back limited your ability to enjoy the hobbies that you used to enjoy?
I mean, a lot. I basically don't enjoy things that much, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't do what I want or what I love. So.
Okay, so I want to point this out real quick, and then Love Oneself put a notation. It would be easier if she just had all of our medical documents with her to submit it herself. The thing is, Love Oneself, and this is one of the commenters, most people are not able to get their records nowadays because they usually charge them. Number two, it adds a subjective element that they could have been edited or altered. And number three, most people hate to have to go through the whole HIPAA assignment or high-tech letter issue as well. Not all physicians will go ahead and just give you your records. Some are essentially those individuals or corporations that require a whole procedure to be able to get them. Now, for you, Madame, what was the question that I originally asked you? And then and then summarize for me the answer you gave me.
This past question.
Mm-hmm.
You just asked me how does my disability limit what I love? I'm sorry, is that what you said?
Well, your hobbies. And then you answered with a bunch of
My hobbies.
Yeah, you were like, hey, I can't do stuff. I'm not happy. I'm definitely not good at it. I didn't hear a single hobby in there. There wasn't like, I can't do ice skating anymore.
Because I know.
Yeah, I can't dress up as a dinosaur. Yeah.
Okay, I felt like it's really obvious that I can't play tennis, so that's why I didn't say it. I mean, not obvious to you, but I meant obvious for a judge who's looking at a back case. So that's why I didn't say that. I didn't know.
Okay, but what's the answer?
So I love playing tennis. I can't play tennis anymore. I love culinary school. I love to cook. I love to bake. I can't do that anymore. I love to go to the gym. I can't do that anymore. So those are pretty much the three things that I love to do.
Tell me a story. You have 3 minutes that is going to make me believe that you are truly disabled and that things have changed for you in a very negative way, and that I should humanistically attach to the story that you're telling me. Go ahead.
Wow. Okay. Dang, I'm really bad at this. So I had to drop out of culinary school because of my disability. That was my dream. I've always wanted to open a restaurant and own a food truck or a bakery. That's always been my dream since I was about 5 years old. Can't do that anymore. I have gained weight because I physically cannot get up and go on a run, on a jog, on a walk anymore. That's something that I really love to do. I can't go out with my boyfriend. I can't do the things that he loves to do, which are, he just loves to walk around amusement parks. I can't do that. I can't take care of my pets anymore, which are the loves of my life. I can't bathe them. I can't feed them. I can rarely even go outside with them. I can't take them on a walk. So I don't know if those are the things that I should be saying, but that is true. And I don't know if it's been 3 minutes. I'm just really bad at this because I feel like what I'm saying it's not good enough, but what I said is true. And I don't know if that's making you feel for me, but yeah, I guess that's it.
All right. So first thing, you've got to be okay to end the story when you're ready to end the story. You don't need to give me an outro and all that stuff. Next thing is there was no plot line to that. I didn't know what you loved in life. I didn't know what you hated in life. I didn't know what happened to you. I didn't know where you ended up with it. I got basically a sort of list of things you used to like to do that you can't do, and another thing, and then you can't do it.
Okay.
Let's get you ready for the story, because I'm hoping this will go through the initial filing. But if you have to go in front of an administrative law judge, then the bottom line is you're going to have some sort, of essentially a story that will go ahead and connect with the judge. So What was your favorite thing to cook?
Cheesecake.
Okay, so excellent. That's good. That's good. I'm actually thinking about naming one of the boats that. Okay, good. So
Okay.
indeed, well, it's you got fishing boats. Those are for fishing professionals. You've got jet boats.
Yeah.
Those are for people who think they're cool and then they realize they're not. And then
Yeah.
you have RV boats, and those are cheesecake boats.
Okay.
And that is what I am.
Yeah.
That's what I'm working on. So,
Awesome. Okay.
yeah, exactly. All right.
Okay.
So here's the basic thing.
Got it.
If you were to say cheesecake, what kind of cheesecake?
Cookies and cream.
Cookies and cream. Did you do anything special with the cheesecake that you made that was cookies and cream cheesecake?
Well, I piped things on it so that I had to decorate it, so I had to stand there.
So you like to
Water bath, open the oven.
Yeah, you like to put stuff on the top of it. You like to accessorize the cheesecake.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right, so decorate would have been a more proper word, but I like to accessorize.
Decorate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you like to accessorize. What's an example of a really cool show that you like on TV that's has something to do with cooking?
Oh, wow. I mean, I like watching people, so individual cooking shows.
Okay, individual
like Ina
cooking.
Garden.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Ina Garden, or yeah.
What are the similarities between you and that person?
We both love to cook. We're both creative. We both love to eat.
Mm-hmm.
I love French cooking. That's what I was taught to do in culinary school, and that's what she does. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so butter cooking, very good. Okay, so
butter cooking, yes.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I ain't gonna say that. So
right.
Okay, yeah. All right, so listen to me talking about I literally go to McDonald's. I'm like, look, can you guys put more butter on the bun and extra salt the hamburger meat? And they're like, no.
Well, I'm the same way. I love McDonald's though.
Yeah, I do too. It's terrible. So okay, all right. I want you to tell me a story about how you tried to cook a cheesecake, but you weren't able to finish it. It all got ruined, and you just felt terrible about it. Go ahead, 2 minutes.
Well, so I tried to make a cheesecake. Cheesecakes are pretty particular. Like I said, water bath, boil. You have to cook it for the right time. It'll crack. The perfect temperature in the oven. I have to keep making sure that it's all right. And I can't make sure that it is all right in the oven. So it's either I'm sitting down for too long and my timer goes off and I'm like, crap, I can't get up. Or that happens and I have to call someone and they're busy and I have to wait, and then it sits in the oven too long, and then it's overdone, and then it cracks, and then they take it out, and then it looks so bad that I don't want to decorate it.
Okay. So on a scale from like a first grader writing a story and Steven Spielberg, literally penning a script, where do you feel you were in the spectrum of storytelling there?
I think a 3, a 4.
A 3. Okay. Now, is that at grade or is that like out of 10? Like a third grader or like an out of 10?
I'm sorry. I thought you were doing it 1 out of 10.
Okay, cool. I just want to. I was like, I think it was better than a third grader, but out of the 10. All right,
yeah.
All right. So, what could you have improved?
I don't know. I'm just nervous when I'm doing this. So,
okay.
I guess, lessen the nerves somehow. I don't know how.
Tell me what's so difficult about cheesecake?
It's tedious.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, baking is very scientific. So baking is scientific. You have to get all the measurements right. You have to level everything off. You have to make sure the water bath in the water is the right exact temperature. You have to make sure it has the right pan. It has to be in there for a specific amount of time, in the right oven. It has to be the right heat. So.
All right, I'm going to take a shot at your story, and then you get to rate
Okay.
me. And keep in mind, this is a little bit tough. I don't know how to cook. I buy cheesecake from Walmart because I'm a terrible person.
Okay.
So
Buy cheesecake from Publix, by the way, if you want to get a good cheesecake. Go ahead.
that only makes you slightly better than me. Don't even try. All right. So the way I would start the story is I'd say, Your Honor, I've done a lot of things in my life, but the main thing that I love to do is that I love to make people happy. And the way I would make them happy is by using my talent. My talent was cheesecake. And I know a lot of people think, what do I mean? Was I making cheesecake? Was I eating? No, I would make the best cheesecake on the entire block. And everybody they would want a piece. I'd have to make a bunch of it, and I loved it. But recently, when I went to go make the last cheesecake that I made a year ago, I got everything out. I got everything perfect. I was going to make this happen. But then I started to realize I didn't have what I needed. I couldn't follow the steps. I didn't have the groceries. I couldn't follow the steps. I went to the book. I disconnected, and I couldn't figure out what to do. People were waiting for me to go ahead and bring them this cheesecake. And it was really horrible for me to call them and let them know that I didn't have any and I couldn't make any. And that's what happened. All right. We did a story.
Yeah.
How was it?
I would say an 8.
An 8. Okay, good. Good. With more time, I could probably squeak an 8.5 out of that.
Yeah.
So,
I believe you.
Yeah. No, if I had a fork, I could have dug deep. So, all right.
True.
Good.
Okay.
Now it's your turn.
So I get it.
No, you don't get to say you get it. You get to try it. You get to, oh, I get it. Oh, just like
No.
I got my stuff down. Are you kidding me? I was good the day I was, but let me tell you. Okay.
Well, no. Okay. This is hard for me. Like I said. So do I need to do cheesecake? Because
no, you can do anything. If you want to get creative. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see. Well, I can't do what I love, what I grew up on. I played with my grandpa, who is no longer with us. I played with my dad, my whole family, and we were really connected through tennis. We would play on leagues together. They would come and watch me at my games. I would go and watch them at theirs. So it was like bonding for all of us. So I can't carry on that tradition of tennis in my family anymore, which is something that was really important to me. And so now I feel really disconnected a little bit from some of my family because that was our only, bonding moment. And it was great exercise, which I also loved about it. And it was competitive. I feel like I've lost my competitive drive because I'm depressed about disability. Yeah, that's it.
That was that was a good attempt. How would you rate that?
Oh crap! Not good. I would say a 5, a 4 or a 5.
Why would you give yourself a 5 and not a 4?
Why would I give myself a 5? Because I felt like I was connecting a little bit, and it was true. But
good. Truth is good.
I just sound like I'm hella nervous.
Yes. Yeah. You sound hella nervous, but that's not I think the issue. I think the issue is the lineup of how you phrase it, the lineup of how you deliver it. Being nervous in one of those moments is realistic because you're going to be in front of a judge, and when you're in front of the judge, that judge, they look at you, and then all of a sudden your brain is going to go blank. So nerves, it's commonplace. All right, now we've gone through a lot of stuff. Do you have any other questions for me before I pop over to the next caller?
Well, I mean, what my initial question was, do you feel like it is likely for me to get approved?
I was trying to get around that, and
question.
I'll give you the answer. You're almost certainly
Okay.
going to very likely get a denial, unless those initial surgeries, because they usually look for 3 failed surgeries, unless those surgeries fall within the listing level statute. And I don't have the medical documentation in front of me to say that.
Yeah.
Now, with that said, you need to go get a prescription for a walker with a seat and a cane and all the other things that you need for ambulation.
Okay.
If you're talking about how you're walking 30 minutes, with, and then you have to stop. No. The other thing is that when you go in there to do CEME.
Wait, you're saying no, what? No.
Well, if
I'm okay?
your testimony about like, hey, how far can you walk? Well, I can walk 25 to 30 minutes. If you've got a severe back, think about it. You have a severe back problem, not a mild one, not a trace one, not a moderate one.
Yeah.
You have a severe back problem. And there you are walking down the first football field. Here comes the second one. Walking down the second one, like that's, it just reminds me of like somebody that's power walking and then at the same time arguing the fact that they have the capacity to go ahead and, have a severe back issue. It's just, it's unlikely to be in that situation. And that's the thing too. Like you have not a lot of training when it comes to the testimony shaping. So, I mean,
no.
I could have gone after you and be like, well, do you ride a bicycle? Well, how are you with stairs? Well, how can you do this? Can you do that? I would have gotten you on one of them.
Yeah.
And then you would have been, oh, but no, it is really bad. The other thing too is that it's a one trick pony claim. It is solely a back 1.04 base listing claim. That's it. Yeah. That's it. There's no, essentially issues with weight bearing joints. There's no issues with mental anxiety, depression, panic attacks, PTSD, whatever. There's none of that stuff. So this is a tough claim because everything you have puts this into the territory of a listing. And I want to explain really what this means. So there's 2 really, really common ways to be found disabled. The 2 most common of the, top 4 are essentially vocational allowances and listings. And vocational allowances are basically where they find that with all of your impairments combined, totality of the circumstances, you can't work just over part-time work. You can't work a full-time job. And therefore they pay you basically to keep you alive. Now, with that said, your claim isn't like lots of disability and impairments that bring up the question of, okay, can this person go ahead and, work a job? The question isn't really that. We're still at element 3, which is if she only has one impairment, does that one impairment meet, equal, or exceed the severity of the predefined disability listing for that one impairment? Because when you only have one impairment, it's a tough claim to win because they're more concerned about whether or not you meet the predefined listing, big list of impairments. They're more, concerned whether or not you meet that particular listing than whether or not you're going to fall into a vocational allowance. So what that means is...
Can I say this?
Yeah, sure.
One thing, I do have problems with my neck. I had an MRI on my neck, and the reason why I didn't bring it up is because I've never had surgery on my neck, but the MRI report said I had mild stenosis. I don't know if that's enough.
I mean, mild stenosis... mild stenosis is nothing. I have mild stenosis,
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, so... Yeah, you got to understand, like, it's just one of those things where you're putting, all of your little gold bags of hope on the platter of a 1.04 listing. And if you go look at a 1.04 listing, you start reading it, you're going to realize, holy cow, you got to be really, really, almost extremely severely impaired. And when you start looking at that, you're going to be like, oh, dear God. So my advice to you is you may not, and it sounds like you are not, very in touch with your emotional, limitations from not being able to do the things you used to love to do. I'm also going to say something that's going to piss you off a little bit, but it's good that it does. It's going to push you in the right direction.
That's okay.
Oh, but so here's the thing. You are a female that's young, and those are the toughest claims to win because young females have parents and grandparents and husbands and boyfriends that all take care of them. And for that reason, they're never put
know.
into a stressful situation, and that stressful situation never makes their impairments as that bad.
Okay.
Okay, all right. You're gonna force me to play the game with you. Are you ready? I can tell you're ready.
Yeah.
I can tell you're ready. You got the excitement in your eyes, the nervousness in your voice. You're ready. Butterflies are flying around. One of them died over there, but that's okay. All right, so here we go. So tell me this: have you ever been forced to get a job over the past year?
Yeah, I was forced to be an Uber driver. I didn't even. It was so hard for me. That was the only option because I couldn't go back and be a server again, which is what I did for 12 years. So that's what I had to do because I had to have something for me to sit down. And that was the option until that got too bad. I couldn't do that.
So who forced you to do it, though?
Forced to have a job.
I mean, were you not going to have a home if you
Myself.
didn't? Yourself? That sounds very privileged.
Yeah, I forced myself. No, I forced myself because we were going to get evicted.
Oh, okay. Okay. So the boyfriend wasn't able to pay for the rent.
Well, he couldn't pay for all of it. That's for sure.
Well, who's paying for it now?
Well, now we've moved in. We've moved in with my parents because he can't support both of us. Unfortunately.
Oh, okay. So let's look at this again. So, were you in a situation where you were going to become homeless without health insurance?
Yes.
Okay. But you still had something to fall back on, right? You weren't literally on the concrete jungle street in downtown or the wooded areas of the far off land.
No, I was never on the street because I pushed myself, like I said, to be an Uber driver.
Cool. Excellent. Okay. Now, let me ask you this. When you pushed yourself to be an Uber driver, how many months did you do it for?
I did it for, 2 years.
2 years?
And it was horrible.
Okay. Gotcha. So you're now living with your parents. You're now, I'm assuming
yes, and my parents, would beg me to come here and pay them less of a rent, but it still wouldn't be enough for my boyfriend to cover at that time.
Okay. Do you feel that there are a lot of people who are not younger females in that same situation that don't have a significant to support them?
Yes, I do.
And what happens to them?
They become homeless, I would assume.
And what happens when they become homeless?
Live on the street, possibly.
Right.
What happens when they become homeless? They lose everything.
They lose everything they have. They lose. They usually turn to some sort of program or drugs, or they are trying to panhandle, and they'll get arrested for illegal conduct, and then they start to go ahead and collect criminal activity charges on their shoulders.
Okay.
So let me ask you. And here's the tough part. Here's the best. All right, let me ask you.
Oh, Lord.
Yes. Go ahead. Do you feel that as a younger female with parents who are willing to take her in and a boyfriend that has a job, that you were in a better position and not forced to have to continue to work for even more years and then lose everything and become homeless? Do you feel that you were more privileged than that? Okay.
Thankfully, yes.
Yes, I agree. Thankfully. I wish more people were in that situation. But now I tell you with that is why I take a much harder, longer look at those types of claims, because young female disabled claims are extremely difficult. Because had you become homeless, your back problems would have been significantly worse. You wouldn't have the medication. You wouldn't have the medical treatment. You wouldn't have the comfy bed. You wouldn't have the special pillows. You wouldn't have to have, a room to be able to stay in with 4 walls and a roof. You wouldn't have had any of that. Climate control, forget about it. You would have gotten significantly worse. Well, I mean, come on. You know how the world works. There's not a lot of guys that have.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, okay. You know how that works. I mean, look, if and let's now let me ask you. You're 30 years old, correct?
Yeah.
We are as a country, we are as a nation becoming more neutral in the duties that a male would have towards a female and a female would have towards a male, correct?
Yes.
And that's a good
Yes.
thing. I think it is. I can't force that idea on you, but I think that's an amazing thing.
I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing. I love the idea that women have to pay half the check. I love that. Some don't join me on that. Some don't like that, but I love that.
You said pay half the check?
Yeah, for food. Like you go out to eat.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay,
no,
cool.
I 100% agree with that.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Sorry.
Now, with that in mind, me being a little bit older than you, do you think women that are a little bit older than you, in their mid 30s, 40s, things like that, like the idea as much that a female would share the dinner bill, or maybe even sometimes take the entire dinner bill? What do you think?
I think, do I think that a lot of women in that age think that way?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, give me your take on it. I mean, you're 30 years old. I want to know your take. Yeah.
I think that assuming is wrong. So I don't want to assume something about someone. Like, I don't want to assume that, most women think that they shouldn't be paying the bill at that age, because I have no idea. So it's hard for me to say.
Okay. Do you feel that?
But I can tell you what I think personally. Go ahead.
Okay. Do you feel that had it been switched around, okay, and your boyfriend, right, and now he is dating a wonderful, amazing woman. We know that because we're talking directly to the person right now. So we would never call that into question. But
Definitely.
if he were not dating such an amazing 1 out of a billion, 1 out of a trillion people, 1 out of 27 trillion, the current debt of the United States, 1 out of 27 trillion people. If he were not dating such an amazing person, and he was dating kind of the average, right? Do you think?
And he was dating what? The average?
Yeah, like the average, female out there, same age group.
Okay.
If you look at a lot of your friends that, were more of the average, not the great, not the good, not the great, but the average. Do you think he would have been in the same position that you would have?
Do I think that she would be in the same position that I would?
No, that he would be, if he were dating a female that was not you, and he became impaired.
Female, yes.
And he became impaired.
Oh, if he became impaired? Oh.
Do you think that average female would take care of him like he has for you?
Oh man, see,
that's tough.
That's hard to say, because there are great men, just as I am a great woman. So there are great men that would not because they're a man, just take care of their partner because they were disabled. But a great woman, and if he was disabled, I would do the same for him. Mm-hmm. But if an average woman dating an average man, I'm not sure about that, because all I know is great.
Right, because the family ties aren't there. Your family taught you to be a great person. His family taught him to be a great person. But if we took that away and we didn't have the support system, would we likely have a different outcome?
Okay. I see. No, then probably not. But I don't think it's because they're a woman. I just think it's because they're average.
And that's amazing, because your generation is going the right direction with this thing. It's not that the male has to pay for everything, the male has to do this, the male has to do that. It's more of a neutral existence. Exactly. That's amazing. Now you take somebody that's in their 40s, they're going to answer that immediately to say, no, it'll be totally different.
Oh, okay.
And you get,
I don't know.
But think, and that's part of the thing, is to gauge essentially what people grew up in. And that's part of the thing, is that's why I find these younger female claims so difficult. Ultimately, it won't be like that. It'll be younger female and younger male claims that are so difficult, because people will hopefully be taking care of them. Or there will be less ties to the family teaching the kids to take care of the things that are important to them. And if there are less ties to that, as we've been having, then what will happen is structurally relationships will become more disposable, meaning that people will live lives of disposable options. If this thing isn't working out to
Okay.
benefit them, they dispose of it. Next, if this thing doesn't work out, they dispose. It's a more disposable nature that they live
Yeah.
in. So
Okay.
I took way too long with this, but my point to you is this.
I know. I'm like, you need to go on to the next person. I feel horrible.
No worries. Well, I tell you what. All right, I will catch you a little bit later. Have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for popping on the show.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good night. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, guys, we're going to go on to the next caller real quick. 1 second. And we missed, I know I spent way too much time on that show. I just wanted to point something out that is why those younger female claims tend to be so tough. And that essentially I always have to look at them with great scrutiny because that person or that type of individual is never put into a situation that's really, really tough for them. Ergo, they never have an impairment that really shows itself for how bad it can be. So 1 moment real quick. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Knott with Disability Resolution PA. Go ahead and use a fake name. And remember, go ahead and would you like me to answer a question or would you like me to run hearing questions with you? And just remember, you have to mute your computer. Otherwise, we get all that squeaky sound. Perfect.
So actually, I would like to practice telling my story to a judge. This is Steve Ledger. I spoke to you a few weeks prior.
Sure.
About my case.
Sure, you got it.
And the main takeaway you gave me was to work on my storytelling.
Okay.
And so that's what I've been practicing. So I wanted to see if I can run that by you to see if I can just get some feedback to see how well I'm doing so far. I'm not sure if you remember me calling.
I'm sort of remembering it because I remember the tonal features of your voice, but go ahead, walk me through it. Tell me the story. I'm the judge right now. So I'll be a hypothetical judge, an administrative law judge. We're sitting. We went through a bunch of questions. Now we're at the part where you're going to tell me the story. Go ahead.
Okay, great. Your Honor, when my mother was pregnant with me, the doctors told her I had to be aborted. They said I didn't even have a heartbeat, that if I was to be born due to the lack of oxygen and the heart problems, I would, for lack of better words, be born as a vegetable with severe heart problems. Your Honor, I also want to tell you about my favorite movie, which is Rocky. I've seen Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4. I've seen them all. I relate to Rocky because he's a fighter. And no matter how many times he gets knocked down, he still tries to get back up and continue on despite the difficulties. Now, on February 2nd, 1990, a beautiful young boy entered this world with the biggest heart his family has ever seen. That baby boy was me. And my heart was medically perfect, but socially abnormally big. From a young age in school, I would volunteer during recess to help fellow classmates with their homework. I wanted to help people from an early age. Despite this, I did not escape my birth unscathed. From a young age, I was diagnosed with severe Tourette syndrome, bipolar disorder, OCD, depression, and panic attacks. I'm sorry, I'm getting nervous. I'm not a good storyteller.
That's fine. Take your time.
My Tourette's made me out to be a big target growing up in school. When I was 10, I was bullied relentlessly for my tics. And one day, my childhood bully actually threw me through a cafeteria glass window, shattering the glass everywhere. Now, my physical wounds did heal from that day, but my mental wounds, my PTSD, never did. Throughout my adult life, I've had repeated panic attacks related to broken glass. I've gone to emergency rooms from just touching broken phone screens. The PTSD at that moment has never left my life, unfortunately. When I was 12, I was hospitalized for going into psychotic episodes where I wanted to kill myself. During this time in the psych ward, I was on over 5 different medications. My current therapist or psychiatrist would say I was actually over-medicated when I shown him the list of medications I was on. Those medications have left me with some long-lasting side effects. And unfortunately, I was also not greeted with the best experience during my stay in the psych ward. During my stay in the psych ward, I was sexually abused by another patient. And leaving the psych ward, because of this experience, I developed a severe fear of psych wards, of course, and as well as medication because of the experiences that I had. Despite this rough start to life, I never forgot the movie Rocky. I took those lessons to heart. Sylvester Stallone himself was homeless at one point and never gave up. And now he stars in my favorite movie. So I took the mindset of never giving up to heart. When I was 18, the first thing I did after finishing high school was go to work. I worked at various service jobs and retail jobs, and I did anything I could to better myself, keeping the mindset of Rocky to never give up despite my challenges. In 2015, yet another moment changed my life. My parents ended their marriage in a very ugly and violent divorce. My own father got in a physical altercation with me, and, well, he broke my nose. Despite this setback, I continued to work on myself religiously. I went to the gym every single day. I went to every work shift religiously, never missing a single day of work. I wanted to do everything I could to better my situation. And at that point in my life, I wanted to become a personal trainer because I wanted to help people. I wanted to help people while helping myself. During this time, I was suffering repeated panic attacks, PTSD, depression, and psychotic episodes. But the gym seemed to be the only thing that helped me during these times. At work, I would wash my hands so much because of my OCD, my hands would actually crack and bleed. Despite this, I continued to push on. But in 2019, I suffered a severe injury in the gym where I actually fractured the L5 vertebrae in my back. And still keeping in mind the spirit of Rocky to never give up, I attended community college later that year in a back brace, keeping the mindset to always push on. Soon after that, as you can imagine, the weight of things really started to get to me. I dropped out of community college, unable to function with the schoolwork due to my mental issues. And I soon realized I had a severe problem. My panic attacks had gone from being weekly to almost daily, and I began to have thoughts of suicide again. I started attending therapy and seeing a psychologist regularly for treatment. Despite medication attempts and treatment, my panic attacks did not resolve. Soon, I found myself quitting my job. I couldn't handle the stress and anxiety I was feeling. One day, I had a panic attack so bad that I ended up quitting my job as a result. I was suicidal, having panic attacks on a daily basis, dealing with such severe mood swings that even my friends and family at the time who used to speak to me anymore felt abandoned. Despite my attempts to not allow my disabilities to define my life, it boiled down to a defining moment where I realized that my favorite movie star, Sylvester Stallone, starring in Rocky, at one point hit a low where he needed help to get to where he wanted to be. I realized in that moment that if it wasn't for people like Adrian, Rocky's girlfriend, Mickey, his coach, and Apollo Creed, his friend and rival, that Rocky would have never been Rocky. He needed help. He couldn't do it alone. I realized at that moment that I too would need help. And Your Honor, this is when I applied for disability. It's not my goal to be on disability forever. In fact, I never planned to be on it at all. But just like Rocky, I need help to get to where I need to be. I'm asking you to be my Apollo Creed, my Adrian, my Mickey, and grant me this opportunity to get better. My goal is to one day use this opportunity to repay society for allowing this opportunity to get better. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but my life goal is to one day produce something of value that can help people around the world who suffer with mental illness in the way that I do. I want to help as many people as possible because my whole life I've lived with this pain that those people live with. And just like Rocky, I need people in my corner to get better and do these great things that I want to do, Your Honor.
Okay. It was very, very good, very moving. It was way too long. Go ahead and try it again. 2 minutes, though. I'm going to go ahead and start the clock here. Give me the exact same thing, but in 2 minutes. Go ahead.
Oh, man. My heart's beating just doing what I did. I don't know if I can cut it down to a second attempt.
Try it
That
again.
was really my all. That was really my all. Like, that was everything I had.
I gotcha. But recenter.
I'm
relax.
shaking right now. My hand's shaking.
I gotcha.
Okay, sorry.
Relax, recenter, find your center. Think about it. I want you to hit only the most important parts of that. 2 minutes. So we're at 9:30 right now. At 9:32 in a bit, you should be all done. I'll jump in when we get there. Go ahead. The beginning.
All right. Your Honor, when my mother was pregnant with me, the doctors said I wouldn't have a heartbeat, that I would be born a vegetable, for lack of better words. Despite this, when my mother had me, I did have a heartbeat. In fact, I had such a heartbeat that my goal as a young child was to help other people. I would volunteer to help people in school. Unfortunately, I was stricken with the unfortunate diagnosis of bipolar disorder, OCD, depression, anxiety, severe panic attacks from a young age. I was bullied relentlessly in school because of this. And despite all this, I still wanted to help people, and I still wanted to make it my life's goal to help people who suffer with my same disabilities. When I was 12, I was hospitalized for wanting to kill myself because the weight of it all really came down on me at that age. I was unfortunately sexually abused during my stay in a psych ward, and I was over-medicated. I developed a fear of psych wards and medication as a result. I still pushed on, and the first thing I did when I turned 18 was go to work. I wanted to be a personal trainer because I wanted to help other people, because that's what felt right to me. Unfortunately, I sustained a severe injury in the gym where I fractured my L5 in my back. And despite this, I carried on and pursued community college to become a personal trainer in a back brace. Unfortunately, the weight of it all really came down when my parents divorced, and my father broke my nose during a violent divorce between my parents. At this point in my life, I started to have such severe panic attacks and depression and anxiety, OCD, PTSD, that even my closest friends and family wouldn't want to deal with me.
Okay.
I ended up quitting my job as a result.
All right. You did very well. I want you to summarize it even more. I want you to go ahead and tell me the category bullet points for each section of each part of the story. So I want you to just tell me in bullet point form what the theme of each part of your story was. What the theme of each part of your story was. What was the intro about?
I see. I think I'm having a lot of anxiety right now. I think like last time, I'm going to have to kind of restructure and come back.
Work on it.
To really kind of give you my best. Yeah.
That was a massive improvement,
though.
Yeah, but that was great. I mean, that was like the writing was excellent. I don't know how you went from, and I remember the first time you were going through it, I was thinking this is never going to come together well, but that was incredible. If you can get that down to about 2 to 3 minutes, you're going to do an exceptionally well in front of the judge. I was very, very impressed with the emotional connection that you had there. Come back to me maybe next week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, whatever you need. Come back to me, share with me your update. Shoot for 2 minutes, shoot for 3 minutes. That's what we're looking for with you being able to do this, because that was excellent. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, and I'm gonna work on that, and I'll come back and hopefully have a 2-minute summary of what I attempted today. And thank you for the feedback. I really appreciate it. I'm in the reconsideration stage. Likely, I will probably go before a judge. I know the recon stage is less than 10%, so I'm just trying to get ready for that. But thank you for not just helping me, but helping everybody here.
Yeah, absolutely.
On this platform, and
Absolutely.
helping everybody who suffers with a disability. I think what you do as a service to the people is very noble, and I just want to let you know I'm very appreciative of it.
Excellent. Good, sir. I'm really excited to see where you go from this. Make sure you catch up with me in the next upcoming weeks. I am excited to hear it. You've had massive improvement, frankly, beyond any scale I can give it. So have a wonderful, wonderful night, an absolutely amazing weekend, and I will catch up with you in the near future.
Thank you so much. Good, sir. You as well.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Call from.
Nope. Oh, no. Hold on. I had to end that call real quick because I didn't want it to say the name of the person. Hold on one moment. Let me find that person again. Here we go, guys. I'm going to go ahead and call this phone number, get that person back on the line. One moment. And then we'll go ahead and go to the next caller and keep things rolling. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Knott with Disability Resolution PA. We are live on YouTube. Please remember to go ahead and mute your computer, use a fake name. And would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to run hearing questions with you?
I just have a specific question. I Walker, thanks for taking my call. I just want to get your opinion on what's going on. You know, with the opiate epidemic. Basically how it's affecting chronic care and chronic pain patients and veterans when CMS and the CDC and the media has launched an anti-opiate, what do you call it? They're, pretty much anti-opiate, and lots of people have had their medicine either cut way down to the SSDI guidelines for the CDC, or totally cut off together. And what's even more terrifying is that even private insurers are also going along with this, saying that they will not cover like a certain dose if they deem that as acceptable.
So that is a massive question. I mean, the first moment when you said, opiate, when you said the word, my brain started to go, oh God, this is going to be the most open-ended question. That is like the biggest sandbox I could step into question. And just to give people a background of what's going on, there was a mega, we're talking like cigarette, mega, just as big as you can think lawsuit. And basically what it accounted to and came down to is that certain companies that made drugs of a certain class were going to need to pay out a lot of money, which didn't turn out to be a lot per person, but a lot of money to basically those individuals who became addicted to these drugs based upon the tendencies that the companies used to sell those drugs. What resulted was hundreds of thousands of individuals, some might even say millions, who became addicted to opiates and the resulting products that come from it. And as a result of that, the problem is now you've got people who became drug addicts on legally prescribed drugs. And the problem with that is that now the government, through basically the insurance companies, have threatened the doctors and made it clear that the pill mills were going to have to stop. And who got hurt in all this? It wasn't the government. The government made money off of it. It wasn't the insurance companies. The insurance companies we're going to have to medicate them anyway. It wasn't the drug companies who made trillions off of it. It wasn't the doctors who were part of it. It was the ultimate party, the patient, the injured, the now stuck in a situation where they are pretty much at a high level of addiction for the drugs that they were legally prescribed. Who gets hurt? At the end of the day, it is the drug user, which has a negative connotation, which it shouldn't, because the person who was taking the medication was legally prescribed those medications. We as a law system backed it. We as a medical system backed it. We as a political system backed it. We as an administrative system backed it. We even used it in schools. And then what did we do? We took all those medicines and said, no more pill mills for you, even though you're addicted to it. And so we started to come out with other drugs that would try to reduce the addiction. We tried to come out with other drugs that could not cure the addiction problem, that couldn't handle the pain levels. And now you have a lot of people who are absolutely miserable. And the problem too is that, and I had a claim recently, to me, a drug user is very easy to, there's gray room, but, you can usually tell, because I've been doing so many claims, I can say, okay, that's a drug user. But then I have claims where they come off as essentially a pill mill person when they weren't. And, what used to be the normal amount of pills to prescribe to something all of a sudden becomes a situation where, the new medical groups are saying, whoa, that's way too much. You're now medication seeking, pain medication seeking. And that's when we started to see the articles popping up about how people were injuring their pets and taking their pets to the doctor to try and get pain medications out of the pet from the vet.
Oh, God, that's horrible.
Oh, it happened a lot. It happened quite a bit. They would injure the dog. They would injure the cat to get pain medications for the animal, and then they would either use them or sell them themselves. So there's a lot of problems here. There is no win-win-win. There's none of that.
Do we have any rights legally, or are we able to fight against this? I know there's a lot of groups out there trying to get Congress' attention, and too many people are afraid.
So if I told you, I could tell you what they want me to tell you. What they want me to tell you is that the legal system is set up to make people whole, to make them what they were to some degree. But that's a lie. And it's always been a lie. It's never been the truth. The legal system is set up for civil actions, which is what this is. And really, it does go into criminal, and it did in a few ways, but most of this is just civil, where the only thing we can really give you is we can't give you your time back. You're going to die probably earlier because of the use of the medications. We can't give you the money back, but we can try and give you more money. We can't give you your health back, but we're going to give you more money to give you a better life. Will that more money make up for the situation you're in? No, of course it won't. It's not even going to be that much, because the companies that were selling all those things have used up a lot of those funds. So even when they talk about the millions and the billions and the trillions, it's not that much money. Now, look, I need to preface something. People's minds right now are not dialed in properly because we're hearing these mega numbers from Congress. And then they're like, whoa, I only get $1,400 out of 1.9 trillion? No. Okay, 1.9 trillion just to the American people would be a massively large number. What's happening there is...
And only 9% of it's going to COVID.
Isn't that mind-blowing? Isn't that just...
It's ridiculous.
It's harmful to my happiness. That's the only way I can put it. I was happy, and then I learned the truth. And that's not a bad thing. We are getting closer and closer to the reality that our politicians on both sides of the fence are crooks. We are getting closer and closer to realizing that the real criminals are the people that represent us. We are getting closer and closer to realizing that the only option we have are term limits, and even with those, we should still be able to hold them accountable. That's the reality. We're getting closer to it. It's a beautiful thing. They won't be able to manipulate.
I think the CDC should be held accountable. because they lied and overinflated on their, overdose death statistics. I'm sorry, I can't speak tonight.
No, it's okay. It's,
You know.
I look at,
And that
yeah.
whole panel was led by, anti-opiate, supporters. And they did not want to talk to doctors, pain management, patients. And, they should account for that. They basically lied. And now the doctors are so scared. They're following, their guidelines. And, you can't, you cannot help everybody. You got to tailor it to an individual's need, medically responsibly, of course, and with, strict monitoring. I'm all for that, because what would happen to us? If I didn't have anything, I would be bedridden. Isn't it better for society in general if you're able to, take care of your kids or, do something for yourself, maybe work part-time, than to just yank everything and, basically, just destroy lives like that. It's so unfair.
So let me tell you how the destruction of America occurs, because I think that's what you're really getting at here, which is not just the base fundamental of who gets hurt and who gets what to make them whole. And since they're not whole, what do we do next?
Playing doctor.
So let me tell you exactly how you.
Part of the problem.
Yeah, but let me tell you exactly how America gets destroyed. This is it. This is how it happens. This is how it'll come down. This is the exact strategy that's going to be used to destroy America. Number one, you have to make people that are actual professionals afraid to lose by having a professional opinion, an objective opinion, an opinion that should be considered. You have to make them afraid that they will lose their license. Sort of like what they did in the states with the voting, right? When there was that whole question of was there cheating? The governors were coming in saying, well, we're going to go to the bars for those states and we're going to have your license removed to practice law if you file a suit. That's not acceptable. Such as like the doctors who came out and said,
the same thing in 2016.
Right. It's the exact same thing for the doctors.
And if we can't do it now, and all of a sudden we're insurrectionists. I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry for interrupting.
But the bottom line is this. They're doing this to the accountants. They're doing this to the lawyers. They're doing this to the doctors. The only people who are doing this are the politicians. And if there's term limits, we don't end up with what now not a president, but an emperor forever. They just removed all of the, as they put it, rubber stamp requirements for a 2-year limit. A limit that would limit the power of that person to go ahead and continue to be president. And now what they have is a senator. He was supposed to leave in 2023. The bottom line is now he will be their president for the rest of time because they have a social credit system. And that social credit system, if anybody disagrees with the government, they get lower scale on the social credit system, kind of like we have TransUnion, Equifax. That's only for money in this country, though. They have it for everything. If you want to go ahead and disagree with the government.
Is there a national executive mandate coming out?
They want to, yes. President Biden is pushing to create a new system of social credit that is a federal government social credit, which will essentially get rid of the Equifax, TransUnion, and the 3 companies that basically do credit as we have it now. And their base fundamental is that Equifax, TransUnion, the big 3 are a racist group that are essentially creating these calculations that create racism in society. Now, look, even if they were, I'm not saying they're not, even if they were, why couldn't we just make them show us how they do their calculations and then change the law so that they have to do it a certain way so that racial inequality does not occur? That would be a good thing. But what they want to do is they want to go ahead and create a new federal social credit system. And everybody will get a federal social rating, just like China. And in China, they can, if you get a low social rating, not allow you to go to certain schools, not allow you to get certain loans, not allow you to get certain mortgages, not allow you to get certain credit cards, not allow you to go ahead and do high-speed transportation. So what's happening is worse than a nuclear bomb, a hydrogen bomb, worse than all of those is the idea of essentially taking any form of freedom away from the only country on earth that was founded on the basis of it and has long standing for it. You're essentially taking freedom away, which is why, and I always say to people, the basic fundamental is this. Everybody wants to know, how big should the United States government be? How big should it get? It is unconstitutional for the United States government to get any larger than the people's ability to overthrow it. That's why you see in all these other countries.
See if you wrote something on any social platform or whatever, and they get a hold of it, maybe tap, that database on Trump supporters, it's already rolled out.
Right.
But anyway, and you try to go to pain management, and they run your social credit score. Nope, you can't be here. Die. You're an insurrectionist, or you are a troublemaker.
A domestic terrorist. A domestic, they changed the definition of it.
Terrorist.
You got it. You got it. Yep. Appears to intend to do these things.
Why don't they apply the same standards towards Antifa and BLM?
Well, you see, that's called that's called politics, and I try to stay away from politics because people get very offended by it. But the reality is this: BLM started with something that was a cool idea to go, and there should be an Irish version of that. There should be a Jewish version of that. There should be a white version of that. There should be different cultural aspects of that. That there's all kinds of groups that support people, but then BLM was purchased by different political agenda-based groups. And now it's become something totally different than what it originally was. And then it got linked together with all these things being Antifa and BLM, and essentially the whole thing got hijacked. But what's happening is this. People in this country, whether you like immigrants or not, immigrants come to this country because they want a better life. So when they're trying to say, hey, every immigrant that's brought in is automatically going to be vote farm for Democratic votes, that's not correct. Immigrants don't come to this country trying to have a bad situation like the country they were originally in. They're coming to this country to start a business. They're coming to this country to work hard to make money.
Well, depending on from which country they're coming from. Let's say if they're coming from Cuba, they're, most likely conservative. It just depends.
Well, it depends too.
Yeah, definitely they wouldn't want to come to a country and recreate the same hellhole like in Venezuela.
It's tough there. It's really tough there.
I'm a naturalized citizen, and I don't agree with unvetted or under controlled migration, because we only have so much resources. It's not like in the past, in the 19th century, where we had less of a population and you understand, and we could take in a lot of immigrants back then. Things have changed now, and we can't take on the entire population of the world. We can try to help those countries in order to cut back with economic migration and try to help them, and hopefully pray that their governments will change so that they will have a better country and government and quality of life.
So, and this is what I would add on to that. And I think that's correct. What we have here is the best country in the world. That's why people want to come here. Okay, they're not running into a wall to try and get over a very tall wall or find a hole in the wall because they're going to something worse off than what they had before. Okay, so what we have here is the best country in the world. The best country in the world was during Clinton in the positive. We were on the spreadsheet in the green. Now we are $27 trillion in debt. That's more than we make in a year. So the problem is this from a financial landscape, and keep in mind I have an MBA, and it's all part of the basic fundamentals of how countries work, is that a lot of people don't realize that in order for countries to go ahead and buy things from other countries, they have to trade in-kind currencies, which is one of the things that ends up hurting us because we no longer are exporting all the things that we used to, meaning selling things to other countries. So what's happening now is that we have a lot of people who think America is doing much better than it actually is. America has always been the place for and of immigrants. We all come from some other group. You know, if you go to an island somewhere, that's how a lot of countries used to be 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. It was just that population. But that's never been America. America's always been everybody. That's the whole point of it. That's the whole idea of America. You have every potential genetic option available in America. That's kind of the cool thing about it. The thing is, though, the people that represent us have now put us $27 trillion in debt. Now, if somebody said to you, I'm going to put you $270,000 in debt, you would say, hell no. You would not vote for them. But yet, we seem to keep voting for these people that are not passing a balanced budget, that are not investing our funds properly. And look, I'm the first person to say green energy is a good thing in moderation. We didn't have the technology back in the Obama era to make the mass investments like they did with all of America's money. And many of those corporations.
Frozen Texas.
Well, and that's the thing is a lot of that. Well, I mean, I can go into that too. But the bottom line is, I don't know if most people know this, but the majority of the green technology organizations that were funded were then purchased toward the end of Obama's era by China. And those are only the successful ones that survived. Most of them died off. So we're seeing incredibly poor investment strategies. I mean, there are people on YouTube with far better portfolio abilities than Donald Trump, than the top people on TV on Fox News and CNN and MSNBC. We have people on YouTube who are truly great investors. Why are they not in control of the money of the US government? Why aren't we using their talent? And that's because the people that we vote in are good at smiling at us, right? They're good at selling us on being amazing people for the soul of the nation, to put America first. They're great at selling us on things, but they're shit on delivering.
Free money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the new thing. That's the new big thing. You're going to get $2,000. And then all of a sudden, now it's $1,400. And then now all of a sudden, literally today, now they're going to, well, it's $1,400, but there's a bunch of restrictions. And maybe you're not going to actually get as much as you might think. And we're going to lesser this. And now we're into that. Guys, if you learn anything from tonight, it is to learn as much as you can, not get emotionally attached to any particular candidate, and demand that candidate work day and night for you. Otherwise, they get fired. That's it.
Exactly.
You know? So the bottom line is this, you know, I see somebody just put on there that I'm a Republican. Here's the thing. I believe very strongly that we need to treat the earth better. I believe that the earth is going through a transition with its environment. I believe that we need to go to electronic technology that utilizes motors as opposed to engines. I believe that we need to invest into technology that's better batteries. We just figured out how to do fusion. That means fossil fuels for running cars, running houses, running cities. It's gone. We're not going to need it in 5 years. We're not. We can do fusion now. We used to have fission. That's what all the fossil fuels were. Now we have fusion. Like how the sun works, we figured that out. So in 5 years from now, we ain't going to have the same system we used to. In fact, the articles are coming out now that show us that essentially those companies that are used to having to create fossil fuel products are now switching over to go ahead and create plastic-related products with the same types of facilities and these giant manufacturing plants because they need something to do to earn more money.
It's going to take time to transition. But it kind of seems like they want to do it overnight.
I mean, here's the thing.
It's just not rational.
Here's the thing.
And then what are you going to tell all those people that are out of work? Learn to code? Yeah, I hear exactly what you're saying.
I guess the best way that I can provide you guys with simple answers to where this stuff is all going. Technology is not the enemy. Technology is our friend. The bottom line is, all right, let's take two saws, right? You've got a chainsaw that works on gas and a chainsaw that works on electric. The chainsaw that works on gas has to continuously run the engine so that the chain keeps going and the engine keeps going. That way, when you pull the button, the engine's running and everything's good and you're going to cut the branch. Awesome. With an electric one, you don't have to keep it running. You just pull it. There's so much torque in it. It starts right away, cuts the branch, done, and then you turn it off. You don't need amazing batteries. You don't need the best lithium batteries you can potentially get because you're not using as much energy to keep something constantly rotating, constantly working. That's the same thing with cars. It's the same thing with trucks. It's the same thing with trains. It's the same thing with boats. Electric motors are going to replace every aspect of what we have. And the only reason it took so long to do it is because we, the people, allowed total pieces of junk to kill off Tesla, one of the original geniuses that would have saved our entire nation. We would have mobile power. You wouldn't have to plug into a wall if we had kept Tesla alive and funded. The man died literally with crackers that he was eating because he was so poor that he didn't even have enough money to buy basic food. Just think about that. That's terrible. Now, is the future of technology a Democrat thing? Is the future of technology a Republican thing? Well, I don't know, but I would say this. I would think, to be fair, it would be both. It should be both. It's for the benefit of the people, but it's at the same time the enemy, right? The Republicans are pushing that we still need our coal, we still need our this. Yeah, you plug in your car at night, you're powering it with coal. Thank you, Cheyenne, so much. Cheyenne just gave me $30. There you go. Thank you, thank you. All right, so anyways,
If it was more affordable and more accessible, I would have solar panels, of course. I want to save the planet also. But, you know, it's not going to happen overnight, and the world's not going to end in, 9 years? I don't know. But anyway, thank you for talking with me. This has been really great. Yeah, I just want to give somebody a chance to be on the phone.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful night.
Have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Jody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys, I missed a bunch of phone calls. We went off topic there of Social Security disability benefits. I understand that. Okay, so let's see. One moment. We're going to call the next person. Here we go. Give me one moment. Okay, good. And here we go, guys. Let's check it out. Let's see if we can get the person on the phone. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Knott. We are live on YouTube. Would you like me to answer a specific question, or would you like me to run hearing questions with you? And please remember to use a fake name.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm okay. I'm calling because I am on disability. I get SSDI. I am blind, permanently blind, and I have some questions in regards to making money
Sure.
while I'm on SSDI.
Okay.
And this is kind of what unfolded. There's a product that I use that if I become a distributor, I get a very reduced rate in purchasing further products.
Sure.
So without actually realizing, not knowing what I'm doing, I did a 1099, and when I went to do my taxes this year, it's like, well, you're self-employed. And I'm like, I am. But what I do is I reinvest the money I make into the product, which is for my health. And now I am not sure what I should do, if this is a problem or not a problem. Okay.
So always think of it as a per month situation, not as a per year, as a per month situation. You want to watch out for what's called SGA. SGA stands for substantial gainful activity. And SGA is basically the maximum amount that you could earn before becoming ineligible for the program for that month. Now, there are things you can go into, like a ticket to work program, or your 9-month period where you can work, and they give you 9 months to trial work period and just see if you can work and do things, and they won't take the money away from you. But if you want to 1099 this thing, you need to be very, very aware of something very harmful to your particular situation. Number one, when it comes down to those who are self-employed, the SSA plays a lot of unique angles. I call them tricks, but that's not fair. A lot of unique angles to try and figure out what your earnings actually are. And because they can quickly say, hey, wait a minute, you're doing the work that really equates to full-time work, and therefore we're going to attribute that to you, and now we're going to give you an overpayment for each month that you were working with this product. So what you have to be careful about is when you are a self-employed person, they have an entire statute that goes into things that they can use to try and review and say what your work is actually worth, as opposed to what you're actually earning from it. So the first thing is be aware of that. Go read the statute on that. The next thing is SGA 2020 amount was the $1,260. So if you were earning above that, now are you blind or are you mentally or physically impaired?
Well, I'm blind. I mean, legally, permanently blind. I only have one eye, and the other eye is glaucoma. But that was 2003. I've since had further disabilities like hearing impairment, where I can't hear anything without my hearing aids. I never listed any of this stuff because I'm already on SSDI. So, but it's a permanent. I mean, I can't grow my eyes back or anything, so it's a permanent blindness. And I haven't even been reviewed. This has been since 2003, where I was getting reviewed very frequently. Now I'm not getting reviewed at all anymore.
Mm-hmm. So what you need to know is this. The blind thing is really important here because the SGA amount is different for blind individuals. So mental impairments and physical impairment people all fall into one category, and then blind individuals fall into a different category for how much they're allowed to earn. They're allowed to earn up to $2,110, and that's the 2020 amount. 2,000.
Is that including the disability check or above the disability check?
That's above. That's like what you can earn on top of that before you hit the SGA amount.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that
it's nowhere near that.
Yeah. So then bottom line now, but remember what I said here about the SSA has their own statute when you are a self-employed person where they can attribute more income to your actions than what you actually earned. So do you understand what I'm saying with that? Because that's super crucial to your situation.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I wish I did, but I don't understand.
Okay. So here's the deal. What that means is that if you only earned for the month $300, but you put in, essentially, let's say, for that month, you put in, 50 hours a week, a lot of time, they could say that you had actually earned over SGA and attribute more money to your situation than what you actually earned, because most self-employed people don't earn as much money as what they would if they were just working a job in that industry. Some do, some earn a lot more. But the bottom line is they use that to attribute more funds to a self-employed person because to their mind, hey, you're working more than full-time or you're working full-time, and therefore we're going to attribute SGA limit amounts to you. And then for each month that you were working, you're going to get an overpayment because we feel that you were earning more even though you didn't get paid more.
So I didn't even contact Social Security when I did this, and until I did my taxes. So is when I actually realized what I did, because I filled out the 1099, which actually made me a distributor. And I don't really put any hours into it. Like when I place orders, I get a credit for it in money, and then I personally use it to reinvest in the product, which are holistic pain patches or of that sort. So I'm not actually doing anything literally, like as far as working, except for placing orders or mentioning it to somebody else, and then they place an order underneath me, kind of like, I guess, an Avon or something.
Sure.
So how do you even figure out hours with that?
Well, you would log it. You'd sit there and you'd say, okay, I started this time. This is what time I ended. And remember, it's not really your accounting that's going to come down to the line. It's how they're going to account what you've accomplished or what you tried to do, and then give you numbers based upon their statute allowances. That's why that statute is unfair. That statute should not be allowed.
Should I be notifying Social Security right now? Like, should I be calling them up and saying, hey, I'm doing this?
You're required to by law.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So how does this, I mean, I need to be able to have money. I mean, the Social Security is helping me to live, but how do I afford something if I can't freely, like, find a way to make money that I can do as a blind, hearing impaired person?
So bottom line is, so if you want to work and earn money, go into a ticket to work program allowance option. If you just want to earn a little bit of money, then find whatever program, whatever job you can to go ahead and do that. You only really need to worry about this situation if you are self-employed or if you're earning a higher amount and you're starting to get into the $1,300 a month, $1,400 a month, $1,500 a month. In that regard, now keep in mind too, a lot of this stuff will often trigger a CDR, continuing disability review, which you talked about initially. So just be aware that, like, if you're not in a program that's blessed by the SSA, so for example, a ticket to work program, then you might run into some issues related to essentially getting another CDR.
So is this going to count against me that I started this in the past July, and I didn't even realize any of this until I did my taxes last week? Can they take my checks away? I mean, like, did I break a law?
Can they take your, say it again?
Can they take back my disability checks from the last 6 months or anything like that? Can I be penalized now?
So they don't take them
For the
away.
money that I have made?
What they do is they give you an overpayment, and an overpayment is basically where they'll say that you owe the United States government because you should not have received that to begin with. So that's their form of, I guess, taking it away. And what that means is that you then have to go ahead and battle that to try and get it reduced, to try and get basically a payment system set up, or to just pay it off, or to just have it reduced till it's nothing. So those are basically the options related to that. But, I mean, how much are you earning per month?
Well, I can say that in 6 months, I earned like $1,900 in 6 months. So it's not a lot.
That's nothing.
But
just be aware, if you did a heck of a lot of work and that work is somehow able to be captured, like they could go ahead and look at things and say, hey, you worked so much time on this program that you had to log into to go ahead and make this all happen. Then they've got exactly what they need to say, well, here's the hours that you did. Here's what the basic fundamental, minimum wage for doing this job would be. Ergo, you actually earned this much, and we're going to use this much against you as opposed to what you actually got.
so what is that 9 months program that you were mentioning about? Does that mean you work for 9 months and then if you make enough, then you're off of SSDI?
If you make too much, for each month that you make too much, you violate SGA. And if you violate SGA, that's element 1 of the 5 elements of disability, you are not eligible for that month to go ahead and receive disability benefits. So if you violate any elements of the 5 disability elements for any month, you are no longer eligible for that month to be on disability benefits. If you do that for enough months, then they kick you off the program.
One other question I have that I hope you could enlighten me is I relocated from Wisconsin to Arizona, and I am 57 years old, and I can't literally qualify for any kind of blind assistance. And apparently it has to do with my age. Like, I was looking for mobility and stuff like that, and for whatever reason, my age doesn't qualify me for this type of stuff. I can't get anything in regards to that.
So you have one particular insurance, which I'm sure is Gov insurance. What is the particular thing that you're running into that you can't get?
I can't get any blindness, like, accommodations. Like, I totally...
Like a seeing eye dog, a pole, like what?
Well, mobility training is just having somebody come out and help me understand my area to just learn how to travel from my home to my mailbox. Or, I feel like I'm in a whole nother planet here and I can't even figure out my surroundings. And the first thing they do is they ask me my age, and then they say that I don't qualify.
Okay. So, all right. There are blind institutes that have all these products that you can tap into in the area. Have you checked? Not
I
with medical.
called them.
Okay, and you're saying all of them said that they can't get you, and they're all going to help you because you have government health insurance that's going to pay them. I don't know why they would say they wouldn't help you. If they say they wouldn't help you, call the next one, because bottom line is they want that government insurance money.
Well, I have called every blind council, whether it's NSB, and I never had this problem before, but I've also been trained before in a different state, and in Arizona, they're just saying that, and everyone comes back, it's like because of my age, if I was 65 or older, or if I was below 55, but at between 55 and 65, I'm not eligible. And I presume it's because I'm not considered working or something like that. I don't know. So, I don't know.
Send me a write-up on this.
I've been turned down for a year.
I gotcha.
I've gone through everything in the phone book that I could find, and they've even referred me to other agencies that are much further away, and they can't help me.
Send me an email on this. I'll see if I can go ahead and send you a group that'll go ahead and help you. But send me the things you're trying to get. Right now we're on general blind assistance, but what are you trying to get? A seeing eye dog, or what is it that you need?
It's literally just mobility training where I can actually learn my surroundings, and they help me safely, to get to a bus stop or to get to a grocery store or public transportation. It's identified as mobility training. Okay. I use a white cane.
Sure. And you're saying none of these blind facilities have a trainer that can assist you that you've called in the state since you've moved?
Yeah, and they're telling the reason they're saying it is because of my age.
That is bizarre. That is incredibly bizarre. I don't know.
And I've been here for a year now, and I can't even leave my house, and this is embarrassing, but I am just. I've never been scared as a blind person because I always knew my surrounding, and I knew it in my head before I lost my sight in 2003, and now it's just I have no idea what's even around me.
Shoot me an email on this stuff. Let me check into it, because it's odd that they would not have not only assistive devices, but also assistive training programs. Even if it's not a person, but somebody that they could redirect you to with a seminar to watch. It's just odd that they would not have something to assist with that aspect,
Okay, I will send you an email with my real information. Okay, well, I genuinely appreciate if I go ahead and just discontinue this work thing, if I just stopped it, because there's no way I'm going to be able to live without my SSDI.
Sure.
That is the only solid income I can rely on. That's not going to hurt me, right?
I'm actually sorry. What's happening is I'm getting tired. I'm starting to lose things as you're saying them.
So if I quit this self-employed thing tomorrow, that's not going to harm me in any way from the past. I just have to deal with the past, right?
No, it won't harm you going forward. But to be honest with you, I don't think it's an issue as of right now. You're earning such a significantly small amount; it shouldn't be a problem. $1,900 over a 6-month period is not much at all. Even if they apportioned more hours to you, that's still not going to equate to enough to go ahead and make it. Remember, you've got a heightened level because you are a blind-based disability, which means that your SGA is over $2,000 as opposed to the, just under $1,300 that a regular mental or physical impairment person would have. So keep working it.
So do I need to make an appointment with the Social Security office and go in and bring something to them, or how do I notify them?
You just give them a call or send them a letter.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. And that's thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
God bless you.
Have a wonderful day. Have a blessed weekend too. Bye-bye. Okay, guys, we've reached that magic time. It is 10:19. I do have to go ahead and do some fun stuff like code, write briefs, do all kinds of stuff like that. We did get a little bit off of topic today. Some of the things that are going on are obviously quite concerning to me. I do tend to obviously speak aggressively for the rights of the disabled, for the rights of those receiving benefits. My big, how long are short form CDRs taking these days? And as a conservative, it takes 5 months or more instead of 2 months or less. Yeah. So, okay. The rumors I'm hearing, MASTLJNJ, the rumors I'm hearing is that DDS had a huge issue of employees. A bunch of them left. And what's going to happen in the next 6 months is that hearings are going to be pushed out to 18 months, 24 months to be able to get appealed to the hearing level, and you're going to have to wait 18 months, 24 months, things like that, because all that, lost employee time at DDS is then going to spread to the claims taking longer down the line as well, because they're having a mega claim buildup at DDS, and then boom, that whole thing is going to be shoved onto the hearing level. So right now, because of the COVID situation, MASTL, it's not something you really should be concerned about. You should be concerned about it if this were a regular situation, because that means they're having a lot of medical consultants, MCPC individuals go ahead and review your documentation. But right now with the whole COVID thing, I wouldn't worry about it. They just, from what I'm hearing, they're very low. DDS lost a lot of employees. That's just going to be taking them forever. In fact, a lot of the people that are in initial filing or reconsideration right now, bottom line is 6 months, 12 months from now, you're going to have to wait a really, really long time to go to a hearing, because it's just all of that giant bulk of claims is about to get thrown onto the hearing level. So that's what's going on. Yes, I will give Cheyenne a call probably at the next, whatchamacallit. Yes, what would you give out to the world? You'll definitely get tenfold back. We also have to go ahead, and I wasn't able to find the person. That's the thing too, guys. So here's the thing. For those who called in, if you're still watching, we have to do a vote for who's going to essentially go ahead and get the $25. But before we go into that, I want to make a quick little announcement. Back in the day with the first donation, we wanted to go ahead and donate $25. We couldn't donate $25. We had to donate $35. But we donated $25 specifically to a black and white dog that did look like Layla, the dog I lost, who was hit by a car and had a separation of the spinal cord, all kinds of problems, and could use their back legs. We donated $35 to Cuddly, Cuddly, from the law firm, specifically for the dog named Pickles. And she's a beautiful black and white female dog who had a horrible, horrible car accident situation where she was walking around on her front feet after that, and unfortunately was not able to use her back feet. But so many people went ahead and donated that I think she's going to be able to get the surgery and maybe use her back legs in the near future. So who would you guys like to vote for to receive from tonight's callers the $25? And if that person is watching, please, please, please make it easy on me. Shoot me a text message with what your PayPal email is. I'll then call you to make sure that it's you, and then we can always PayPal you the funds. So who do you guys feel, when you vote, should receive the $25? Okay, I'm going to leave it up to the live chat session. Who would you like of all the callers to receive the $25? Go ahead. And I always throw my vote in, but I'm going to wait a little bit this time before I throw my vote in. So go ahead, guys. So I'm seeing Rocky. I'm seeing Rocky. I'm seeing Rocky. Okay, and that was the young gentleman who called in weeks ago, gave us a story. Story wasn't good. He worked on it, made it incredible. And now basically we go ahead and hear the evolution of his story, and it's really, really great. Looks like Rocky. 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 The Rocky guy. Rocky young man. Rocky. Excellent. Okay, cool. All right. So, I mean, that's a lot of votes. I know there's 83 people in here, so maybe we can call it that. If you guys want to throw a few more votes up there, that's fine too. But basically, what do you guys think? Rocky? Should we go with Rocky? Should we Rocky some more? Okay, Rocky. Very good. All right, guys. I will go ahead and find a way to locate that gentleman. If that gentleman is still watching right now, that would be amazing. I see a wait. What are we waiting for? What's going on? What's happening? What's going on? Cheyenne said wait. I see a bigger wait. There's a bigger wait. Oh, something huge could be happening here. That's amazing. What do we? Oh, I see Rocky. Even more Rocky. Rocky guy. Rocky. Very good. I tried to call you. Oh, okay. Do you want to just catch up with me after the show? Because it's like 10:30. They're donating to 2 people. I said we are donating to 2 people. Oh, we are donating to 2 people. Oh, apparently we're donating to 2 people. I didn't realize that. Okay, cool. Who's the other person that we're donating to? I'm open to it. I'm totally cool with it. I see. Okay, cool. You donated $30. I thought that was because I was being amazing. I didn't read the full thing about it. Let me go read it. Hold on. I need good karma clear, so I'm doubling the donation tonight for someone. Congrats, double it up. All right, cool. All right, so yeah, Cheyenne donated $30. Didn't need to. I could have just donated more to more people. That's fine. But okay, so what do we the blind? Okay, good. Blind lady, very good. Excellent. Okay, we have 2 for her, and we're going to donate to 2 people tonight. So we got 2. So we got 3. Okay, so we have the Rocky gentleman, who are pretty much set on to definitively get a donation of $25. The blind lady is now in the blind. Okay, good. Okay, very good. Very good. Very good. Good. Blind lady for the second. The blind lady. Good. For being a sad kind of special. Oh, that's so special. That's so nice. That's so great. All right, blind lady. Soon as you shine is blind. Okay, blind lady, blind lady, blind lady. It's funny because we don't have the real names. Like they have to like text me. You know what I mean? The non-seeing person. That was the politically correct word. But yeah, the blind lady, the blind woman. Yes. Okay, perfect. Okay, excellent. All right. So here's the deal for the gentleman who wrote the story about Rocky, the woman who was, with, visual impairments. Please reach out to me. Please make it easy on me and shoot me a text with your email, or just, hey, I am the Rocky person, or hey, I am the, person who is visually impaired that spoke on the channel. And non-seeing, great way to put it also. But the bottom line is this. Go ahead and text me, and then I will go ahead and look at them probably tomorrow because I'm super tired. I have to do a bunch of stuff. And then from there, what we will do is you guys will win $25 and $25 to use however you like, whatever you want. It's your cashola. All right. I will catch you guys a little bit later. Have an absolutely, absolutely wonderful night. And we will go from there. And guys, keep taking care of each other. It's the best thing we can do as human beings. Keep pushing for your own individual rights to have the best life you potentially can. I want you guys all to do the best that you can. I want you to have the best benefit of everything that comes your way. Have a wonderful night. I'll catch you later. Thank you so much for watching. All right. Bye-bye.